Hi guys, so I'm gonna read Fantastic Four number 55. So yeah, in this comic, the Thing fights Silver Surfer. Um, so see a raging, fighting Mad Thing leap into action. One strikes the Silver Surfer, leaving the Human Torch and Wyatt Wingfoot behind in the Near East to search for the trapped Inhumans. Reed Richards and his lovely wife Sue return to the FF headquarters, accompanied by the ever-loving, blue-eyed Thing. And now, as the curtain rises and the house lights dim, Reed speaks. All security units register positive, honey. No attacks have been made in our absence. That's wonderful, darling. With no new dangers in sight, we can continue our honeymoon. Since you two don't exactly need no chaperone, I'm cutting out for a while. Wait till Alicia hears that her lumpy lover boy's back in town. Hey, why don't she answer? So, scripted with a smile by Stan the Man Lee, penciled with a passion by Jack King Kirby, delineated with a dignity by jovial Joey Sinnott, lettered with a lilt by swinging Sammy Rosen, and applauded with aplomb by honest Irving Forbush. So where Irving Forbush isn't a real person. That's a inside joke character. But how about lending a hand with the luggage, Benjamin? Why don't you look so? Sorry about that. Why do you look so worried, Ben? Alicia could be out shopping or visiting a friend or anything. Sure, and she could also be having a date with some no-good, crummy lowlife who's trying to beat my time. Ben, dear, why must you always suspect the worst? Figure it out, Susie. With a pen like mine, what else would you expect? But you know how Alicia feels about you. Sure, I know it, and you know it, but maybe it ain't never occurred to her. You're probably working yourself up over nothing, big fella. You can't expect a girl to sit by her phone 24 hours a day, waiting for your call. Why not? You don't meet guys like me every day. Benjamin J. Grimm, you're just being obdurate. My religion's got nothing to do with it. You reason with him, honey. I'll carry the bags inside by myself. Big deal. We'll send you your medal in the morning. And if you're really concerned about Alicia, why don't you drop over to her apartment? She'll probably be home by the time you get here. Just what I was thinking, lady. I got a hunch you two ain't gonna be heartbroken to get me out of your hair for a while anyway. Nonsense, Ben dear. We don't want to get rid of you. Why not? If I was Stretcho, I'd sure want to get rid of a lunk like me. It's too blamed hot to go jet cycling around town in my Sunday go-to meeting duds. Being as how it ain't air conditioned out here the way it was inside, I'll give the natives a treat by appearing in all my orange skin glory. Shoosh. Meanwhile, atop one of the most inaccessible peaks in Europe. What an indescribable thrill. What a glorious triumph. Within seconds we'll reach the very summit. We'll stand where no other living being has ever stood before. We'll be famous throughout the world. A feat like this may never be duplicated again. It took months of planning, of sacrifice, but it was worth it. We've done the impossible. But when the first member of the dauntless little expedition finally reaches his goal, his startled eyes behold, there's someone here before us. But who? What? I have learned all there is to learn of the planet Earth, the planet upon which Galactus has sentenced me to remain forever. And now the time has come. The Silver Surfer shall return to the human female who once befriended him. From the now practically priceless Fantastic Four number 50 specific stand. I, who have crested the currents of space, who have dodged the meteor swarms and the outdistanced the fastest comets, I must resign myself to this prison which men call Earth, because I dared give up the freedom of the universe to aid the hapless humans. But I must have no regrets. Whatever destiny awaits me, I shall be true to my trust, though I am a stranger in a world I never made. Protected by my silvery coat of galactic glaze I wear, no temperature can affect me, no wind or storm can slow or stay my flight. And I, who can track a grain of dust through the infinite void of space, can sense the presence of any living being I may seek. Whoosh. So is it that the unearthly tracking power of the Silver Surfer guides him unerringly to a shore front retreat across or along the Atlantic coast. She whom I seek is surely within. Therefore, I shall descend. Special bullpen note. We'd like to explain Surfy's tracking power to you, but it would be necessary to use many extraterrestrial adjectives, and we wouldn't want to confuse those of you who speak only basic Earth. She stands among the fruits of her labor, but her mind is elsewhere. I thought I might forget how much I miss Ben by coming here to do my sculpting in solitude, but it's no use. I can't get him out of my mind. If only I knew where he is, if I could know he's safe. Then the sightless sculptress picks up a nearby guitar and softly begins to strum. Ben always loved to hear me play and sing. Those sounds, like the distant sighing of a cosmic breeze. If only he could hear me now. Tap, tap, tap. Someone at the window, but who can it be? At a single gesture, a lightning bolt of sheer energy surrounds the Silver Surfer, instantly dissolving the window which stands between him and the blind Alicia. Then, do not fear, it is I. That voice, one which I never thought I would hear again. You returned, as you said you would. Yes, I have flown over this strange planet upon which humans dwell. I have seen men build and destroy. I have seen this world, which could be paradise reduced to a planet of greed and fear and hatred. I have seen humanity with its heritage betrayed. I can stomach no more. But then, even as the weary heartsick Silver Surfer speaks, this is where Alicia's landlady said she cut out to. Poor kid. She came up here to work on them swinging statues of hers, and I was nutty enough to be jealous of her. I should have known. I'm the only pussycat in the world for my gal. Hey, Mrs. Binns, I heard Alicia was up here. How's about telling her that her one and only is downstairs, huh? Mr. Grimm, you startled me. Yeah, I guess it ain't every day that a Prince Charming comes charging into... Hey, wait a minute. What's a man's voice doing up here? This comic reminds me of like Jerry Springer's with this comic. Like their boyfriends and girlfriends fighting each other. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. That's why I love this comic. It's so funny. But what's a man's voice doing up there? A man's voice? Well, it sure ain't Minnie Mouse. You sound so discouraged, so disappointed, but you mustn't be. there is so much beauty, so much goodness here on earth. Somehow I can believe that. Well, when I gaze at you, when I hear your voice, so gentle, so filled with kindness. Mr. Grimm, wait, what are you going to do? I'll write you a letter. Crunch. If that's who I think it is, trying to beat my time with my girl. So, I was right. Ben, is that you? Why do you enter in such a rage, my friend? Stand away from him, baby. Do you hear? Get away from him. Slam. You figure it out. Boom. Crack. Yeah, I love this comic. Ben, what have you done? Something I should have done a long time ago. Shoom. My former friend is displeased. He has resorted to the expedient that all earthlings fall back upon. Savage, unthinking brute force. But why? What motive can he have? Did we not once battle Galactus together? And what purpose did he hope to serve by striking me? I, who am nourished by the energy of the infinite. I, who possess power enough to divert the course of a falling star. He managed to get on that blasted surfboard of his. He's coming back again. This time I'll belt him clean up to the moon. No, Ben, no. You don't understand, my darling. Wait. Listen to me. It's no use. He's so consumed by jealousy he doesn't even hear me. Ben, he isn't human. He doesn't understand. He means no harm, Ben. Come on, you blasted silver skunk. Come on back and fight. I ain't through with you yet. If you insist upon a fight, I shall not disappoint you. Go on, keep it up. Talk big, so as you can impress Alicia. Ben, it's you I'm worried about, not him. He's too powerful. Oh, Ben, my poor foolish darling. A fat lot of good it'll do you. That's it, come on, down here, where I can clobber you. If fight we must, I am bound to use the weapons of the Silver Surfer. Weapons such as this irresistible cosmic blast. Ugh, Zack. Never, shall I truly understand the human race. What do they seek to prove by their eternal battling? What glory do they find in harming a fellow being? Or, as I sometimes suspect, have I been condemned to a world where madness reigns? But just let us pause for just a brief moment or two to visit a lonely pass in the far-off Himalayas, where a silent gyro cruiser sights a stream of fearful refugees fleeing from a nameless menace. Look, Johnny, the stream of refugees is still evacuating the valley. We've got to learn what they're afraid of, even though it means delaying my search for the Inhumans. Prepare to land, Wyatt. Faster, Vester. The monster may soon be upon us. Don't fear, my child. We shall escape. None that live are safe in the valley of the monster. Whatever they're running from must be in that valley below. Right, Wyatt, so that's our destination. A few seconds later. What do you think we'll find here, Johnny? It looks completely deserted. Whatever it is, I've seen enough scary movies to know that it probably won't show up till nightfall. So we might as well make ourselves comfortable till then. At least we won't have to worry about forgetting to bring matches. It gets pretty dark quickly in these mountains. I can hear something moving on the cliff above us. Whatever it is, we'll be able to handle it. I hope. And now, just to prove we never break our promises. Look, there it is. We told you we'd only pause for a brief moment or two. So what better time than this to return once more to our former scene of battle? You blasted fine freak. I ain't licked yet. Just wait till... Ugh. Your courage is truly laudable, but you are like a child, attempting to battle the elements themselves. Yeah, just let me get my paws on ya, and y'all see how fast this here child can grow up. Where are ya? Staying still and fight me like a man. Alright, if you won't get off that blame board of yours, so as I can get my hands on ya, then I'll whump you with my feet. Maybe I ain't no blasted Hulk, but I can still punt me a chunk of boulder out of the ground with the best of 'em through. I kinda figured that'll bring you down to earth, you crummy Casanova. Crack. Now that I got you where I can reach you, I'll stand still, blast you. It'll only hurt for a minute. What's the matter with me? That milk-white monkey's trying to steal my gall away. And I gotta force myself to hate him. Why do I keep pulling my punch every time I toss a haymaker his way? Though you are merely an earth mortal, your natural strength is almost beyond my comprehension. But even for one who rides the currents of space, the first law is self-preservation, and so I just say to the thing's power is like shown in this one panel. Like him saying like he's holding his punches against Silver Surfer and that, and Silver Surfer saying that like it's almost beyond his like it really shows how powerful the thing is. But while our battle continues, I shall intensify my energy buildup until what's happening, my fist can't reach him. At last, my own strength is great enough to match yours. You're wasting your time, mister. You ain't gonna talk me out of the picture. You have forgotten that I am not bound by the physical laws of Earth. You still do not see that I can increase my extraterrestrial energy to almost any degree I desire. And now I am able to battle you in your own manner, using the primitive method of bare fist against defenseless body. Walk. I'll show ya who's defenseless. Ugh. But I perceive that you shall never surrender. Therefore I must take extreme measures. I must increase my energy to atomic strength. Not now. Even you would not dare attack me. Don't bet on it, kiddo. There ain't nothing I won't tackle where Alicia's concerned. Ugh. Zzz. I'm the prize chump of all time. He's turning himself into a walking atom bomb. And it's all on account of me. I've been so busy having a temper tantrum that I forgot the biggest danger of all. He ain't human. He don't even know what he's doing. He's probably gonna blow up this whole hunk of geography without half trying. And that means Alicia and everyone else will go sky high with it. It's up to me to get him out of here, and fast. The jet cycle. It's my only chance. Then, a few frantic seconds later, he's turned himself into a solid hunk of energy, coming after me like a crazy comet. I gotta throw this gizmo into full rocket speed and hope I can stay ahead of him long enough to think of something. So here goes nothing. Click. Shoosh. Boom. Now he's tossing some kind of energy bombs ahead of me, but I gotta keep going. He's turned into his old surfing self again, and he looks stronger than ever. His blasted board came out of nowhere to try to zip under his feet. So what happens next? Now, rash human, you shall learn what it means to have challenge one who has been the mighty herald of Galactus himself, Rupp. If that's the best you can do, Whitey, Forget it. You ain't exactly playing Potsy with no campfire, girl. At least I managed to get him over here to the warehouse district, where no one's liable to get hurt. What manner of being are you to thus defy the power of the Silver Surfer? Long enough have I toyed with you. The time has come to end this senseless travesty. Crack. If that's the best you can do, you should have stuck with Galactus. Hear me, human. I grow weary of this endless battle. The ways of Earthmen are still far beyond my own comprehension. Yeah, well, here's where I finish your education, Romeo. And I'll start by wrapping this crummy border around that scrawny neck of yours. Then you will not listen to reason. Sure I will, after I'm done clobbering you. Give me that board. I said give me it. I'm gonna see how good you are without it. You busted my jet cycle when you slammed me through that wall. So before I plaster you all over the landscape, I'm gonna do the same thing to this overgrown iron board of yours. Okay, this just skips. But if we stay away too long from Johnny and Wyatt, you're liable to forget where we left off with them, and we wouldn't want that to happen. Hold it, Wyatt. If you hear anything, I'll flame on and have a look-see. No, I'm more experienced at tracking an unseen foe, Johnny. This tranquilizer rifle can handle anything I may find. I was right. There is something just ahead, beyond the rocky boulder. I can hear breathing. Anything that breathes so hard, it must be enormous. Heavy padded paws coming closer. It's about to lunge. But the tranquilizer shell will stop it, no matter what. Here it comes. I've got to. Oh no, it moved too fast. It grabbed the gun barrel. I thought I heard the sound of a struggle. Hang on, Wyatt. I'll take care of him. It's some sort of beast. Can't see him clearly, but he's got the gun in his jaws. I've never known such an iron grip. Jaws, iron grip. It can't be, but it is. It is. Wyatt, stop struggling. It's okay. Everything's alright. It's Crystal's dog. He's come from the Inhumans. It's Lockjaw. Yeah, something about Lockjaw. I think Lockjaw used to be like a regular. I think Lockjaw used to be like a regular person. That's why he looks so weird. Well, he's an Inhuman, but he used to be basically like powerless. But when he got exposed to the mists, I think he became like a dog creature that could teleport. I think I've heard of that. So he is well named, my friend. Grr. Lockjaw, it's me, Johnny. You know me, boy, you know me. He managed to get through the negative barrier, which is holding Crystal and the other prisoner. I don't know how he did it, but he did. He freed himself. But then, if he was able to break through the barrier, of course, it means there is a way. There has to be. Lockjaw has the power to travel between dimensions to transport himself anywhere. All we've got to do is learn his secret, follow a way to follow him. That may be more difficult than it sounds, Johnny. And speaking of things that are difficult, let's return once more to the raging, frustrated, blue-eyed Ben Grimm. Ugh, I don't get it. I can tear a brick building apart with my bare hands. Or peel the sides of a battleship off like a steel banana skin. But I can't even make a dent in this one crummy, sawed-off plank. Of course you cannot. That is no mere earthly artifact you struggle with. It was spawned among the distant stars. Your mortal brain could not even begin to comprehend its cosmic power. It is more than merely a means of transportation. It is truly part of me, and I a part of it. Thrip. Now that you realize how futile it is to attack me, I don't realize nothing. How much more proof do you need? More than you could ever dish out, mister. Okay, big shot. We been playing it your way up until now. I be listening to all your fancy talk about your cosmic energy and a nutty surfboard, or how much better you are than us Earth Joes. But now, I'm gonna start making with the lecture my way. Moving like some giant living dynamo, the unconquerable thing races one of the mightiest fists in existence. Thoom. And hammers it down upon the warehouse roof with the mind-staggering force of 100 pile drivers. A split second later, the entire roof gives way, collapsing under the force of a blow whose power defies any mere mortal description. Happy landings, Buttercup. Rumble, crack. How come you ain't bragging now? Oh, and if that ain't enough to make him wish he'd never set eyes on Alicia, I'll feed him the rest of this joint for dessert. Crack. You blasted big talking space pirate. Thought you could come in out of the blue and shoot me down with Alicia, did ya? Figure you could sweet talk her away from a slob like me, huh? Don't go away, you ain't seen nothing yet. Bam. But suddenly, a long, pliable arm reaches out, grabbing the steel-snood wrists of Ben Grimm. Like a coiled snake. Hold it, Ben, hold it. You don't know what you're doing, fella. Stay out of this, Stretch. It ain't none of your business, so let go. I'm making it my business, Ben. Alicia phoned us, sick with worry. She begged us to find you, to bring you to your senses, if you've any left. We've been searching for you in that police helicopter. Now simmer down and let me explain. Explain what? Get that chip off your shoulder, big fella, before I knock it off. And you've got me itching to do it too. I thought you were in love with Alicia, but instead you left her crying her eyes out. Hi, sorry about that. So, sure, over that crummy Silver Surfer. Oh no, Ben, no. When are you going to grow up, Grim? Or are you trying to prove that you're really as dumb as you look? The Surfer doesn't mean anything to Alicia. He's not even human. She felt sorry for him, that's all. It's you she was worried about. She was afraid you'd be injured, fighting over nothing. I wouldn't let no one talk to me like you just did, mister. Unless maybe I knew, deep down, that you're right. At that very moment, a thunderous shower of concrete debris is hurled upward from the gaping hole into the demolished building below. Look out! Baroom. And when the incredible holocaust subsides, it's the Silver Surfer. He was beneath all the rubble. He hurled it all from him with his own natural power. Here, let me give you a hand. You look exhausted. I am weary. Now listen, Ben. We've been friends for years. I'll give my life for you, and you know it. But, you big, blister-brained baboon, if you don't apologize to him for acting like a misanthropic madman, I'll show you what clobbering really means. I don't know. Well, yeah, he could use, like, Fantastic, or Mr. Fantastic could, like, build a super weapon or something to fight thing, but, like, physically, I don't know if he can really do more. But anyway, alright, I get the message. I acted like a chump. Please, it does not matter. You don't know how lucky you are, Ben. He only used a fraction of his power against you. He didn't want to hurt you. He just tried to protect himself. He still doesn't even know the reason for your boneheaded attack. Do not argue amongst yourselves. There is still much I must learn about human behavior. Perhaps I am as much to blame for giving offense without cause. Let me do what I can to make amends. That which energy can destroy, energy can again rebuild. Therefore, I shall bathe the demolished jet cycle with an intercosmic energy bolt. Zzz. For the love of Mike, the cycle's good as new again. It's the most incredible exhibition of molecular reconstruction one could imagine. Sheesh, can't you even say holy smoke and let go at that? Suddenly, the star-spawned surfboard zooms up from the debris as the uncanny Silver Surfer leaps upon it with one almost effortless motion. I thought my journeying was over, but I was wrong. There is still so much more I must learn about the incredible human race. Thank heaven everything is all right, again Reed. All right, not for me it ain't. How'll I ever make it up with Alicia? I heard what you said. Perhaps I can help you. Give those to the one called Alicia. It is a parting gift to you both from the Silver Surfer, Thwip. A bunch of flowers. He's gone, but sooner or later he'll be coming back. And when he does, what's gonna happen then? Next, to free the Inhumans. So here's the letters column this time. So remember a contest to find the best origin. Okay, so they had a contest for the Silver Surfer origin. The Swingin' Silver Surfer. Well, we received so many imaginative and clever entries that the only fair thing to do is list as many names as we have room for. Actually, none of the entries is exactly the way we will one day present Surfy's origin. But our own interpretation is like a combination of all of them. So we want to take a minute to thank the following Marvelites for their sterling submissions, and to announce that their non-tarnishing no prizes will reach them in the usual no time at all. So Paul DeSimone, Steve Michaels, Donald Bergeron, Craig Lee, Bob Spencer, Walter Willis, Mike McBride, James Grossback, Richard Roseberg, Buddy Strauss, Joseph Boucheret, Brad Anderson, Ward Shelley, Peter Relberg, Ed Urian, Brian Schroeder, Richard Margolopoulos, Dick McGee, Gary Brownlee, Joe Albeld, Tom Oakert, Owen Mason, Billy Haney, and Nick Hazard. And now face front, it's time for our confusing clinic once more. Dear Stan and Jack, too long have I stood by and let my fellow fans praise you for your great work. Now, after reading one of your latest issues, FF number 50, I feel that it is my turn to speak out. I don't know how you guys do it. Seriously, you've got 11 great comic mags out, and with each new issue, you get better. The art is tremendous, and those single-page creations of yours should be hanging in an art gallery, like page number 14 of FF number 51. I rate your comic magazines as the best put out, and I feel that you'll stay on top for many a year to come. I've been reading Marvel comics since I can remember, and rate Spider-Man and FF my favorites, and all the others follow suit. I only wish I was there to meet you personally and congratulate you guys for your fine work. Presently, I am a member of the U.S. Air Force and am stationed in Africa. The one thing that really surprised me was find your comics here in Libya. I think that was before Gaddafi was in charge of Libya. I think this was before that. But I should have guessed that you guys would be everywhere. All I can say is I've gotten a hulk of pleasure out of your suspenseful and astonishing comics. Oh, and there's one thing that yes, that's like a pun. One thing that really kind of bugs me. Who is Irving Forbush? You gotta tell me, Nuffstead. A/3C Greg Sispak, 1950 Community Square Box, 2037 APO, New York, NY, 09231. We'll be spotlighting the lowdown on Honest Irv in a future-ish Greg, so just keep your eyes glued to the bouncing bullpen pages. And while you're waiting, Flyboy, try counting our titles again. With our 3 king-sized issues now appearing every 2 months, we've 13 super titles out instead of 11. And in case you haven't seen the mags in question, we're sending you a hot off the presses copy of Marvel Tales, Collector's Items Classic, and Fantasy Masterpieces. If you resell them to your buddies, don't forget our commission. Keep them flying, pal. Dear Stan and Jack, this is my first letter to your fantastic mags. I can't thank you enough for giving me many joyful and thrilling hours of reading. You see, for a German like me, it is hard to find the correct words to show my expressions. I am 28 years old and have been reading comics for many years. I now proudly call subscription to FF my own. I used to collect other comics before, but now these are lying in the corner getting dusty. Since I read Marvel's Mighty Mags, there are no others for me. The Fantastic Four is my favorite team of your great galaxy of stars. I like the power-fisted Ben Grimm very much. I have an American pen pal living in Connecticut who kindly ships me year monthly Marvels. So my best wishes to the editor, artists, letterers, colorists, and all the others who make it possible that such fine stories and art are available to me and all other comic fans. I am Germany's greatest Marvelite, Hans Schaper, Hildesheimer Street, 39, Hanover, West Germany. Good to hear from you, Hans. We appreciate your enthusiasm and your fine taste. We'll convey your good wishes to all the gang as you requested. But we hope adorable Artie and Swingin' Sam won't get into the usual hassle as to which letterer you really meant. Dear Stan and Jack, I am usually loaded with millions of words, but it is hard for me to sort out the ones needed to tell you how great FF number 52 was. The Kirby Synod art team seems to have surpassed itself with each issue, and Joe's inking becomes ever finer in detail and shading. But the main thing that made my heart sing is the latest in your concerted effort to bring comic literature to a more adult level by portraying members of races other than white. Yeah, because Black Panther was, I think, the first black superhero. I'm pretty sure he was. Black Panther was the first, African American superhero. Yeah, his first black superhero. But I have a feeling that the Black Panther will turn out to be the first great. Yeah, I don't want to say that word, but hero villain. That was correct though. People used to say, well, the NI one. The NI one was not back then, but the NE was like black, I guess. It was the same thing. So it wasn't like back then that the NE one was not bad, from what I understand anyway. But the NI one was bad. But hero villain in comic book history. Not only that, but an African king at that. Most of all, I am greatly gratified at your introduction of Wyatt Wingfoot to your pantheon of characters. Being partially of American Indian ancestry myself, I am always happy to see a modern Indian shown as something besides a poor relic of the past. Wingfoot's pride, his skill, his dignity are in keeping with the real tradition of the past. Let me cast the earliest vote for keeping Wyatt Wingfoot as your running character in Marvel Mags. You could possibly have a strange accident endow him with some superpower, or actually keep him as his normal human self. I'm pretty sure they kept him as a human, Wyatt Wingfoot. I'm not too familiar with, but yeah, I know in Marvel Ultimate Alliance he was a human. So, but let's have more of WW. Having run off long enough, I close with a well done, a keep up the good work, and a face you know where to the bullpen gang. Ken Green, 1809 20th Street, NW, Washington, D.C. Sure, we know where to face Kenny. Every chance we get, we face out of the window to watch the site where the great new General Motors building is being constructed. You've got a ringside seat as our office windows face the entire block. Madison Avenue between 58th and 59th Street to be exact. We have a hunch the multi-million-dollar GM building will end up as a real landmark, people will say. Oh sure, that's the place across the street from the mighty Marvel bullpen. All of which have nothing to do with Wyatt Wingfoot, but you know we love you for having mentioned him. Dear Stan and Jack, some fans may have wondered how the torch flames on. Yeah, it's like spontaneous combustion, I'm pretty sure. Well, sort of. I found out through my science class that our bodies carry a special chemical called hemoglobin. Is this going to be like another long paragraph about like the science? Because one of the other issues I read one of I can't remember which one. I read it on the video, and they're talking about how like Black Bolt had his powers, and that they wrote like 2 paragraphs about how Black Bolt has power. Anyway, this chemical heats our body when exposed to air when we breathe. Johnny's being exposed to cosmic rays has enabled him to put great amounts of this hemoglobin through his pores. With such great amounts of this chemical exposed, it overheats, and as the body catches flame, it does not burn his body because the hemoglobin acts as a coat of gasoline. He registers this chemical by his will to do so. Also, his flame cannot last very long, for the rest of his body needs this hemoglobin. Take a drink every time this guy says hemoglobin, for his body's welfare. It shuts off automatically no matter what. Johnny's other powers, like controlling flame, have been given to him by cosmic rays. In the words of that great Professor Irving Forbush, make mine marvel. James D. Pico, 6014 7th Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 943. The last of your letter is the only one we can really understand, Jimmy boy, but that's enough for us. It's good enough for us. Dear Stan and Jack, keep going with those beautiful science fictionalist stories in the FF like Fantastic Four. What else? When you start a story like number 52 and it's overflowing with those smoothly complicated and oh so shiny Kirby-esque machines, I just know that Stan has got to be building up to another mind-blowing tale of universal proportions. Heroes have to fight in order to be heroes, and those human heroes of constant perseverance, flexibility, concentration, and intuitive wisdom, Ben, Reed, Sue, and Johnny respectively, must be made to cope with the most outrageous menaces conceivable if man is able to transcend his own everyday menaces. If the FF loses, then Galactus eats the world, but the heroes did win, and the hungry Hellion gave up to us our own territory forever. That's my way of saying, here's my vote for more tripped out cliffhangers involving everything. Finally, the Denver people dig Marvel, and anybody that's anybody is your great Mags Oliver's house, or person, or within easy reach, or at least his friends have. I thought the Silver Surfer was a gassy name too. Maybe you should introduce the Halicon hippie. Philip Norman, 1524 Park Avenue, Denver, Colorado, 80218. You must have been reading our minds, Phil. We've got all sorts of nutty names coming up, some of which make a Halakon hippie seem almost ultra-conservative. And wait till you meet the rest of Silver Surfer's family. That's the Blue Surfer, the Green Surfer, the Vermilion Surfer, and the Purple People-Eating Surfer. Okay. I know there was a Black Surfer. He was like, I think there's like a gray or a black Silver Surfer in the future or something. Like much later on, like in the 2000s or something. We'll never run out of characters as long as we have a color chart handy. Dear Stan and Jack, during the while I've been reading your comics faithfully, I have come to understand why some of your fans send irate letters. You sometimes get so near something so great that it bugs us when you miss by that much. Snipping between Sue and Reed has to stop, and Sue has to do something besides stand around looking scared or loving or angry. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're a married couple. It's character developed, but I do kind of agree. Scared, loving. Well, I mean, that's like every single emotion. That's like every single emotion, pretty much. Yeah, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. What she needs is a good female villain to fight. Some chick who tries to entice Ben or Johnny, or even horrors. Read away from the FF. No need to make her an Empress of Andromeda either. Stick to the Earth-type baddies for a while. Yeah, Medusa was kind of a female villain, but then they made her Medusa, who we saw earlier, was originally a villain. She's with the Frightful Four, but it was revealed she had amnesia. But she wasn't a villain then after. But so I don't know if they faced any other female. I think that was the only one they fought. But so far, I mean, like as of issue number 54 or 55. But they are far more believable and interesting. How about somebody with the powers of Daredevil but the urge to do evil things? I am bothered by this Johnny Goes to College. Frank Merriwell Jazz, you started recently. I don't know who Frank Merriwell is. I don't know who that is. This is far more to college life than showing up to the bragging quarterback and winning the game for good old Metro. What's your stand on dope and LSD on college campuses? This guy's a weirdo, man. I know this sounds like a bunch of low blows, but otherwise you guys have got something of significance going for you. The art is sublime, especially those photo pages. Ben Grimm is an epic character. As a grad student at RPI, Reed Richards makes me green with envy. He builds all those gadgets with no NASA grants. Has no trouble finding esoteric materials. Has no worries about subcontractors, and they always work. All this, and Sue for a wife, and Ben for a friend too. Maybe your tribe increase. Well, that's because Reed Richards is rich. He's extreme. That's something that's not really mentioned too much, but Reed Richards is very wealthy because he makes all those inventions, and I think he also had a personal fortune. He was born wealthy as well in the comics. I know his father was Nathaniel Richards. That was his father. But there was a story where the Fantastic Four went broke. Because I think Reed Richards was investing too much in stocks or something. But yeah, that was kind of an outlier anyway. But Sanford, Meshco, Box 40, White 3, Room 2, RPI, Troy, New York, 12181. Thanks, Sandy. Actually, Reed has lots of trouble with subcontractors financing, receiving NASA grants, and even dandruff. Yeah, I do remember like Reed Richards being rich though. That's how like he financed his experiment in the space. Like when getting the awards on the Fantastic Four, like he financed that. I'm pretty sure. But later on, when they became Fantastic Four, I guess they became like poor because of the amount of stuff they were doing. But we didn't think your literature lovers would be that interested. However, your thoughtful dome has opened the vast new story plot possibilities for us. You can feature a villainous NASA dispersing officer, the mystery of the missing subcontractor, and the case of the deadly dandruff remover lotion. One last point. How should we list your name in the credits panel? I guess his name's too complicated. Dear Stan and Jack, how could I ever describe the feeling of pure ecstasy that chills every fiber of my being when I run breathlessly to the drugstore where I buy my comic books and see the greats, the greatest of the greats, namely FF, Spider-Man, and Thor. Actually, to get down to business, FF number 52 is really fantastic. The Black Panther is one of your better characters, much superior to the run-of-the-mill super space villains like Galactus. Having the strongest of your heroes get airsick is something only Marvel can do, and I personally love it. The thing that really crowned the story was having an ordinary man like Wyatt Wingfoot save everybody. In closing, I would like to say, as many have said before me, make mine Marvel. Daryl Miller, 5882 Rhode Island, Cincinnati 37, Ohio. We'll be glad to, Dar, but if old Galactus was your idea of a run-of-the-mill space villain, do us a favor, huh? Let us know who you consider to be an unusual one. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Galactus is like a planet eater and shit. Like, I mean, he's not just like a regular alien invader. Galactus is also basically a god as well. Galactus is a god, so I don't know. But we thought foolishly perhaps a gent who could single-handedly drain all the life energy from our planet and who was as close to being all-powerful as you can get without being Odin. Yes, so essentially being a god. And who traveled around with a surfboarding space herald was at least slightly out of the ordinary. But it just shows how wrong we can be. Yeah, so this guy, Daryl Miller, was really stupid. Anyway. Dear Stan and Jack, well, I've done it at last. I've finally written to you. One reason I did not write earlier is because there was nothing to gripe about in your issues. In your flood of letters praising FF number 52, I thought someone had better speak up for the minority of your readers. To make a long letter shorter, I tell you the bare truth, the Black Panther stinks. Okay. A lot of your other villains do, but to add another to your ranks unbearable. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I mean, there's Doctor Doom, Galactus, Mole Man, Namor is a villain. He's like a villain and a hero. Black Panther's not even a villain, so this guy doesn't even know what he's writing about. The Claw, the Wizard, the Frightful Four, Sandman. Trapster is kind of stupid, but I'll give you that. Puppet Master, Diablo. I think Impossible Man. Well, Impossible Man's kind of stupid as well. Those are the only two stupid ones. Like all the other ones, Fantastic Four of good villains. I don't know. This guy's a douchebag. I don't know what he's talking about. But anyway, the cover of FF number 52 is magnificent. It was just the first half of that issue. Then what happens? Black Panther bats the FF around like dolls, It was about time someone did, but that's not the point. Wingfoot was beautiful, as was the entire mag's attitude and art. No one but no one had enough fight. The Black Panther is entirely too ridiculous. One more thing cut the comedy. Yeah, there is no, it's called character development, you asshole. Your jokes have polluted all of your mags with corny nicknames and funnies. This tends to make your life and death struggle seem unreal. This goes double for your letters page. This letter may not change your views any, but nevertheless, I shall remain a loyal fan for many years. Yeah, loyal fan, and you say all the Fantastic Four's villains are terrible. That's nice. You say Doctor Doom is a fucking terrible villain, and Galactus are terrible villains. That's awesome. I have a small group of neighborhood friends who collect Marvel comics, and each shares my views in this letter. Alan Finn, RT number 1, box 309, Lenore City, Tennessee. Boy, yeah, what a douchebag. Boy, nothing like finishing off with a nice, encouraging letter. So, you don't like our mirthful Marvel humor, hey? Tell you what, we'll never crack another joke. How's that? You want an unconditional surrender. You've defeated the mighty Marvel bullpen with one more letter. Or mere letter. Of course, there's one thing we should mention. We never try to crack jokes in our mags. We've been laboring under the impression that we're writing serious, soul-satisfying sagas of special social significance. If any of it comes off as being funny, it's just like an extra little surprise bonus. We're not quite sure what to make about what you're talking about, Al, but anyway, don't go away mad. Next dish, sorry Frantic Ones. FF number 56 has many spectacular surprises awaiting you that we can't even mention them here. We wouldn't want to spoil the indescribable pleasure you'll receive when you see what happens with Johnny and Wyatt as they get closer to the trapped Inhumans. We've got a special super duper villain for you to hiss, a staggering sample of Marvel's magnificent action for you to cheer, and the most colorful characters in all of comicdom cavorting before your very eyes. So be sure to get with Fantastic Four number 56. We wouldn't want some brand A turncoat to beat you to it. So yeah, I think the next issue we're actually going to read is the annual number 4. I gotta check the timeline of it, but that's the next Fantastic Four we're gonna read. But anyway, that's the end of this video. If you guys liked this video, or you could like, comment, or subscribe. If you want me to do a specific comic, just let me down below in the comments. Just let me know, and I'll see you guys later.